Thank you, gentlemen. The gentlelady from Ohio is recognized for remarks on the bill.
Chairman Cole and Ranking Member DeLauro, Chair Diaz-Balart. It's on. It's on, Mr. Chairman. Lean into it more. And Ranking Member Frankel. First, let me express my deep concerns about the impact of the complete restructuring of this legislation to codify the misinformed and malicious gutting of our nation's diplomatic corps. The 22% cut compared to last year by this bill is irresponsible, and I view it actually as dangerous. We face major threats and wars across places like the Middle East, where our allies are impacted, and a part of the world there where the oil-rich kingdoms have an outsized influence on global politics. In the European theater, Russia's war on Ukraine is weaving a new spider web of tyranny that faces our NATO allies, now involving ground troops from Laos and North Korea equipped with Iranian Shahed rockets and drones. The majority's naive, some would say isolationist proposal reminds me of an adage shared with me by a high-ranking Central European official who said, if you turn your back on foreign affairs will find you. That day is ahead. Our nation's security is not guaranteed. We must work for it every day, as our Constitution places our primary duty as protecting and defending our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is why the first federal agency established by Congress and signed into law by President George Washington was the Department of Foreign Affairs. Our founders knew that if we did not prioritize engaging with and creating alliances in the global community, then we put our liberty and security at risk. We do not live on Earth alone. Every nation needs allies, so do we. We are not the most populous nation on Earth. To keep Americans safe and prosperous, we first must be secure. Without diplomatic support, many of our allies, partners, and millions who are living in liberty will be forced to face the rising threat of tyranny and the harm it is causing as global allies question America's resolve. Our nation shaped international relations through engagement, what has been called soft power, news media, educational and cultural exchanges, foreign assistance, like food. I so disagree with the cuts that will not only impact people around the world who've already died because of shortages, that they haven't received the food in warehouses that we are destroying, but America's farmers who won't get that money. All programs significantly cut in this bill have formed the cornerstone of our engagement. We have entered a new era of competition among great powers. China, Russia, the tyrants backfilling where our nation cedes the field. Latin America, Africa, the Pacific nations, the Middle East, and even now in Central Europe. These are evolving threats which demand new resources. In science and technology, the United States used to lead the world in all the top ones, but now, unfortunately, that lead is being passed to Communist China. Leaders of our country must pay attention to the widening gaps in technological advancement, and never should our nation be placed in a position where aggressive foreign military power overwhelms our nation because their technology is superior. America in alliance is much stronger than America alone. Enacting misinformed and punitive budget cuts would be a significant setback for our country. For example, Canada is Ohio's largest trading partner, accounting for 100,000 jobs just in my state and $21 billion of goods sent annually to our neighbor to the north. Other countries, the United States Department of State has sought to cultivate mutual exchange programs. Canada is a friend and ally and a fair trade partner. Why would we make fun of the maple leaf folks and make trade more difficult? All of these exchange programs, whether they're on our continent or around the world, have included the result of 75 more Nobel laureates, nearly 450 current and former heads of state government that believe in liberty and copy what we have done here. The United States has extended its global influence through radio and television news with efforts dating back to World War II with the Voice of America that countered Nazi propaganda. That practice expanded amid the Cold War with Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty, and we need programs and media platforms such as Voice of America and the U.S. Agency for Global Media. I don't want to speak overtime except to say that President John Kennedy eloquently advised, let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and success of liberty. I think that General Omar Bradley, in another era, also had good advice. Wars can be prevented just as surely as they can be provoked. We who fail to prevent them must share in the guilt for the dead. This legislation hangs our allies out to dry. I cannot support it as drafted and urge my colleagues to oppose it. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you, General